A commentary by Patrick J. Buchanan Related Articles Sign up for free daily updates Tuesday, January 14, 2020. The directed killing of Gen. Qassem Soleimani, Iran's blood-soaked field marshal in this forever war for the Middle East, has begun to roil the politics of both the region and the USA. A stunned and shaken Iran retaliated by firing a dozen missiles at two U.S. bases in Iraq. Yet, before launching the attack, Iran signaled that its retaliation would be strictly proportionate, to avoid an escalation. U.S. forces were warned where the missiles would hit. Result: 0 U.S. casualties in the two strikes. Hours after the Iranian missiles hit the U.S. bases, however, an apparently panicked Iranian officer at an air defense missile battery launched and shot down a Ukrainian airliner leaving Tehran airport with 176 people aboard. For days, the Ayatollah indicated he did not know the cause of the disaster had been one of Iran's own surface-to-air missiles. Thus, while hundreds of thousands had been marching last week in nationalist solidarity to honor the dead general, today, thousands of Iranians are marching against the Ayatollah, accusing his regime of having known the truth and lied to the nation. In Iraq, a non-binding vote has been taken in parliament to demand a full U.S. military withdrawal from Iraq for the execution of Soleimani. President Donald Trump is threatening the Iraqis with sanctions if Baghdad follows through and expels the 5,200 U.S. troops still there. NATO allies with units in Iraq are silently seething, as they received no warning we were about to take down the general. Here, the political fallout from the execution of Soleimani has only just begun. Democrats, after denouncing Soleimani as a war criminal and serial killer of American soldiers, are accusing Trump of carrying out, without the consent of Congress, a premeditated act of war on a nation on which Congress hasn't authorized war. Trump's claim that the general had to be taken down to abort an imminent attack on Americans, including attacks on not one but 4 U.S. embassies, is being derided. The justice of killing the general seems less the issue now than the wisdom of the act, and a storm is brewing over whether Trump and his aides have been dissembling. Nancy Pelosi has already pushed through the House a non-binding resolution asserting that Trump has no authority to carry out acts of war against Iran without Congress's consent. Representative Matt Gaetz, a Trump supporter from Florida, stunned the president by voting for the Pelosi resolution. Sen. Mike Lee broke with Trump to denounce the briefing that Congress received about attacks on Americans being imminent, as both contemptuous and the worst briefing he ever had. General may have gotten the justice he deserved in that SUV departing Baghdad airport, but the unintended consequences of his execution are now coming in. Trump has elevated the Middle East wars as a major issue in 2020, not his strong suit. For, as the military says, the enemy gets a vote as to how much blood, including American blood, will be shed in 2020. Also, by sending the 82nd Airborne to Kuwait and Iraq, Trump underscored the truth: we are still mired in the endless wars for the Middle East despite his promise to extricate us. Fractures have appeared in the conservative populist coalition that put Trump in office. War party interventionists, who have long sought to have the United States do to Iran what Bush 43 did to Iraq, are exhilarated by what they believe the Soleimani killing portends: an inevitable war with Iran. Trump has also energized the anti-war majority in the Democratic Party, specifically the candidacy of Bernie Sanders, whose anti-war and anti-interventionist credentials are as long-standing and solid as is his fidelity to socialism. Sanders voted against both the Bush II Iraq war that Senator Joe Biden voted to support, and George H.W. Bush's Desert Storm expulsion of the Iraqi army from Kuwait. With the killing of the general and the possibility of a U.S.-Iran war rising, Bernie is the Democratic candidate whose anti-war credentials are the longest and strongest, and whose position of avoiding war with Iran is most in sync with the majority of the party he seeks to lead. Sanders could ride anti-war sentiment to victory in Iowa and New Hampshire and have the wind behind him going into South Carolina and Super Tuesday. His socialism may be a bridge too far for most Americans, and an insuperable obstacle to his ever becoming president, but should he win the nomination, he could occupy in 2020 the space Trump occupied in 2016, as the anti-interventionist, anti-war candidate. And if Bernie ran a Come Home, America campaign, half a century after the slogan's author, George McGovern, lost in history's largest landslide, Sanders could change the face and future of American politics. Patrick J. Buchanan is the author of Nixon's White House Wars, The Battles That Made and Broke a President and Divided America Forever. To find out more about Patrick Buchanan and read features by other creators, writers and cartoonists, visit the creator's website at www.creators.com. Copyright 2020 Creators.com. See other political commentaries. See other commentaries by Pat Buchanan. Views expressed in this column are those of the author, not those of Rasmussen Reports. Comments about this content should be directed to the author or syndicate. Rasmussen Reports is a media company specializing in the collection, publication and distribution of public opinion information. We conduct public opinion polls on a variety of topics to inform our audience on events in the news and other topics of interest. To ensure editorial control and independence, we pay for the polls ourselves and generate revenue through the sale of subscriptions, sponsorships, and advertising. Nightly polling on politics, business and lifestyle topics provides the content to update the Rasmussen Reports website many times each day. If it's in the news, it's in our polls. Additionally, the data drives a daily update newsletter and various media outlets across the country. Some information, including the Rasmussen Reports daily presidential tracking poll and commentaries, are available for free to the general public. Subscriptions are available for $4.95 a month or $34.95 a year that provide subscribers with exclusive access to more than 20 stories per week on upcoming elections, consumer confidence, and issues that affect us all. For those who are really into the numbers, Platinum members can review demographic crosstabs and a full history of our data. To learn more about our methodology, click here. Let's block ads. Why?